Welcome to Pishi Bomba. My name is Claire Karatu and we are in the pneumatic kitchen. Now we got a very special request on a recipe that is loved by many. I will be telling you what that is in just a bit. But in case you're just joining us for the first time, and to those who've been viewing every single Sunday, we want to say a big thank you to you. And to our new viewers, what we do here on the show is we show you easy, delicious recipes. That's step by step on how to make absolutely anything. All you have to do is let us know what you want to learn how to make, and we'll call you here to the pneumatic kitchen and teach you just how to do that. All right, now we're gonna jump into our recipe in just a bit. Now today's recipe is very simple. Our lovely guest requested that we show her how to make this, and what it is mushroom chicken. Now I'm going to show you a variation that is simple in that the ingredients are not that expensive. I will tell you what you can use as a substitute for some of the ingredients that I will be using today. But first, let's go through our ingredients. We've got some mushroom, we've got onions, we've got some double cream or cooking cream. We have some spring onions, some oil. If you have butter, that's a substitute. It's absolutely better with butter. We've got some chicken, we've got some rice, which is cleaned. We've got some Spanish paprika, black pepper, salt, and garlic powder. Now, the first thing I always insist on when making chicken, especially the fact that we're using chicken breasts can be very dry. And so we want to make sure that we enhance the flavor all the way through and just don't overcook it, because otherwise you'll have a very tough chicken breast, okay? So the first things first is we want to season our chicken, and we're gonna just make sure that we coat each and every chicken breast with enough salt. Yes, make sure you season your chicken properly. We've got some black pepper that's going in. This is just a very simple rub that we're gonna be incorporate into our chicken, just to make sure that it's a flavorful cut, even if we have our mushroom sauce on the side. And now what we're gonna add is we're going to add our garlic powder straight in there. And then what I tend to add just a little bit of some oil, just to make sure that some of that marinade just sticks on the chicken well. And then this is when you want to get handsy. You want to make sure that you combine and rub all of our spices straight on your chicken. Now this is just very simple seasoning, just to make sure you have a flavorful cut of meat, okay? Make sure everything is well incorporated. Don't worry about the color. It has nothing to do with the color. It's just making sure that the flavor is in the chicken. All right, and as you can see, what I've done is I've slightly butterflied the chicken just to make sure that it cooks faster, because there's a very thick side of the chicken breast. When it looks like that, it's very thick. So one side cooks faster than the other side. So we just want to make sure that it cooks evenly and quick. All right, now what I'm going to do is I am going to wash my hands, and then I'll begin to fry our chicken. Now what we're going to do is we're going to begin to preheat our oil. Now when you're searing chicken, you want to make sure that your heat is super high. I'm going to just add a drizzle of oil straight in there. And as that's going, what we're going to do is we're going to begin to cook our rice, okay? So remember, our cleaned rice is going to go straight into our boiling water. Louis said that he wants a lot of rice, so I'm going to make sure that it's a lot of rice. And then what we're going to do is we are going to season with a pinch of salt just straight in there. And that's all she wrote. We're going to wait for this to sort of just bubble through, cook through. We're using basmati rice, which is quite simple and it always comes out moja moja, kwa hivyo it's going to be good. And then tuko na nini, tuko na mafuta ambayo tunangoja ishike moto. That's it. All right, now the good thing about the kitchen that we're using, the pneumatic kitchen, is the appliances. And of course we have this special hood which filters smell and particles. So that's oil and air particles. And that way you don't have your kitchen smelling like the garlic that we're going to be using. So that's going to be fantastic. I'm just going to switch it on. All right, so our pan is nice and hot. So what we're going to do is, away from us, is we're going to place our chicken. When I say away, it's so that you don't splatter oil on yourself. You place away from you, and that way the oil will splatter on that side. That way we just, eliminate any chances of getting burnt by oil. And do not crowd your pan. So we're just going to put 2 slices, make sure that they're well cooked. Take those out, put the rest in. All right, now at this point, we don't want to dry out our chicken breast, so we're gonna take it off. Even if it's not fully cooked through, it's gonna cook in the sauce that we'll be making for the mushrooms in just a bit. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take out these pieces and cook the others. All right, now also another thing when you're cooking your cuts of meat, please do not press down on it. Just let it cook on your pan, because what you're doing is you're releasing all the flavor and the juices of the chicken, and that's how you end up with a very dry chicken. So just let it cook as it is, and don't worry about the pan burning. That's actually a lot of flavor that we're gonna use. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give this a flip. It looks like it's almost well done. Again, do not dry out your chicken. And I'm gonna take this out, okay? Now what we're gonna do is we're going to deglaze our pan, and I'm just gonna take this out because it's a bit hot. The flame is a bit big. Reduce this and move our rice right there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, you can add butter at this point. In fact, butter would be way better. And then we're gonna cook down our white onions. Don't worry about your pan and just how, I guess, charred it is, because that's flavor from the chicken that's going to be deglazed. You can use a little bit of liquid or broth, which I'll show you how to do that in just a bit. What we're going to do is I like to season my onions just a little bit, just to break the sweetness of those white onions. And then what we're going to go in next is we're going to go in next with our mushrooms. These are button mushrooms that we're using. They're going to wilt, so they're going to become slightly smaller, which is perfect. And then what we're going to do is add again a little bit more salt, just straight in there. Don't worry, we will taste this, so it's not going to be overly seasoned. And of course, we're going to add in our garlic next. A little bit of some black pepper, just about a teaspoon or so, or less actually, and then just give that a mix. Now our rice is almost cooked through. Just gonna make sure that this is nicely mixed. Now at this point, we're going to add in our garlic. I added it at this moment because I didn't want it to cook and burn, where it leaves a bit of a bitter taste. We just want it to sort of marry into our mushrooms there, and it's just going to be absolutely delicious. We're going to continue to fry this down until the mushrooms wilt a little bit further. Like I said, what we're mixing in here is sort of going to deglaze. Yani itatoa hiyo kuchomeka ya pan, lakini pia ni flavor juu tumepikia kuku. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that yote imechanganyika, mushrooms imeiva vizuri, color imebadilika kidogo, and then what we'll do is add the rest of our ingredients. Our rice is pretty much done. Just making sure that the water has completely evaporated, which it has. Perfect. And what we're going to do is just cook this out until, oh, it smells fantastic. You can smell the garlic now just releasing its aroma. I'm telling you, garlic really is just it. And of course, our pan has deglazed now, and which has added to the color of what we're cooking, because it's sort of brought that char color out. Now, when we say deglaze, si ati pan yako iwe imechomeka kabisa, because it's gonna have a bit of that bitter taste from the burn. What this is just a little bit charred from cooking the chicken, not chomeka kabisa. Just kidogo tu ndio tuna deglaze. So that looks pretty much, mushrooms don't take quite long and you still want a bit of a chew, so I'm going to give them just a little bit more, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients. All right, now as we wait for that to wilt and we've got our rice nice and cooked, our mushrooms are perfect. We're going to go on a short break and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Pishi Bomba. We have been in the kitchen making a very simple chicken and mushroom and rice. Now, if you've missed the step-by-step, you haven't missed much. We've just simply made the rice. We have made some mushrooms, and we had already seared our chicken, not fully cooked through, so that we can lock in some of those juices. All right, now what we're going to do is we're going to add in our cooking cream. The particular one that I'm using is slightly salted, so I would urge you to first taste before you season, because you might add in too much. Oh, I forgot something. Our shallots, our green onions. So what I'll do is I'll just add them to the side, just so that they can get a little bit of that oil. Not too much, we just want a small amount, just straight in there. And I'm sort of just going to make sure that they cook slightly through before I give this a mix. All right, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of that black pepper, just very small amount, and then I'm going to add just a pinch of salt as I taste to see if it's well seasoned. All right, now I've added just a pinch of salt, but before I even taste or anything, I am going to, actually, let me just taste first. We're gonna add in just a little bit more salt straight in there and a little bit more of the black pepper. And then at this point is we're going to begin to drop in our chicken pieces to cook through with that sauce. Now, if you cook through your chicken through, then you can just simply drizzle your mushroom sauce right on top. But because I like it to sort of continue to finish cooking through, we're just going to dunk that in. I'm going to start with a few pieces just to make sure that they fit. And then let it just cook in that sauce. It's almost like Tuscan chicken, only it doesn't have the spinach and the tomatoes. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that it just simmers through, soaks in some of that goodness. Make sure you keep on checking the bottom so that it doesn't stick, because remember, it's cream. The color will begin to change, and it's pretty much done in just a few minutes. Now, we did have some of the juices that sort of drained out of the chicken as it was resting. That is flavor. Don't waste it. Just add it straight to your chicken, to your cream, and then sort of just let it sit there and get ready. That's all. All right, now down to the plating, which you just want to make sure you put a little bit of the rice, a little bit of the chicken. We don't need to necessarily make this one pretty. We can just line up the chicken with our rice. The simplest plating form there is in existence is just to simply grab a bowl and turn it upside down on your plate. That's it. And then all you want to do is grab your chicken. You want a nice big piece there. Let me bring it closer because of the drip. And then we're gonna get some of that sauce as well with a little bit of the mushrooms. It's still going there. I still like it to sort of reduce slightly. And then just drizzle that all over the chicken. Now, the essence of leaving the chicken whole is so that you retain the juices. Otherwise, if you cut it up, then you sort of dry out the chicken breast real quick. But this now, the juices are still going to be retained in the chicken cut, and it's still going to be tender and moist. All right, now is the moment of truth where you get to taste just a little bit of what we've done. And like I told you, let me just cut through the chicken so that you can see that it remains quite moist and it doesn't dry out. See that? It's not a very dry piece of chicken, which is exactly why searing on high heat is important. And then we're going to get a little bit of that mushroom just straight on there. It's still quite hot. Seasoned all through, very, very, very tender, very moist, and just absolutely delicious. I cannot wait for you guys to try this. Please send us pictures. We'd love to see how you've recreated this meal. Simple ingredients, absolutely delicious. That's it for today here on Pishi Bomba with me, Claire Karatu, and of course in the pneumatic kitchen. Happy cooking. can never. Where's the garlic? Oh, garlic. Perfect. Takimwagika ni sawa sawa, tutakula bado tamu tamu. Niongeze moja ndio nini? Tukue na kakukuta mingi kakona nini? Yeah!